So today's video is a pretty good example of what it looks like when I get kind of bored with a certain workflow in my home studio. Not saying that I'm making really good music, but I do make a lot of music in here each week. And sometimes things just get a little stale, so you have to throw something new in the mix and see if it sticks. And today's video is a great example of that. This is literally just me implementing something new into my workflow and seeing how I like it and documenting that for my YouTube channel. Whenever it comes to recording electric guitars, heavy rhythm guitars, whatever you want to say, in my studio, I've had a couple of different methods. Like a lot of people, they've all been either in the box or a hardware modeler of some sort. A few months ago, I was using pretty much exclusively my Kemper. I would just plug directly into my Kemper, take an XLR out to the back of my interface, and I wouldn't record a DI or anything. It would just be the raw tone from the Kemper, and then that would be pretty much just what I stick with for the whole mix. Well, recently, I started getting a little more into amp sims. I hadn't really used amp sims since I got my Kemper, just because I was really in love with the tones I was getting out of my Kemper. But then I started using some of the stuff from Mercurial and Neural DSP, and I realized that the tones I was getting in the box were really just as good as the stuff I was getting out of my Kemper, and I had the convenience of having the DI and being able to change my tones later if I decided I wanted to do that. If everything works out in today's video, hopefully we end up with something that's more of a hybrid approach to tracking and recording and producing heavy rhythm guitars. In this scenario, which in my opinion really is the best case scenario, I'm writing in Logic with my amp sims, and I have my raw DI, and then I'm able to send that out of Logic into my Kemper, or maybe in the future into some amp heads in a load box of some sort, and get that back into Logic via whatever output I have at the time. And so in today's video, we are going to be implementing this guy right here into the workflow. So this is the Radial Pro RMP reamp box. Let's focus. It is extremely simple to use, literally so simple that I was even able to figure it out, so there's hope for you, I promise. You just do a regular XLR input, and then you also have this ground lift switch, so if you have any kind of buzz in your signal feed, you may be able to pick that out. On this other side, you just go regular 1/4 inch out to your amp or your Kemper, your guitar pedal, whatever you're trying to affect your signal with. You go out right there to that, and then you have your output level. I just have mine all the way up, and it seems to sound pretty good. From what I can tell, it doesn't color the DI sound really at all. I can't really tell the difference between the tone of me playing and me sending a signal through that. So, yeah. Okay, so let's briefly touch on the signal chain we have going today. We're going out of line 3 on the Apollo Twin X. That's going balanced 1/4 inch to XLR on the input of the Radial Pro RMP. Then we're just doing a regular guitar cable out of the output into the input of the Kemper. And then we're going XLR out of the Kemper back into the Universal Audio Apollo Twin X. And we'll load that up on Logic. And yeah, let's hear some tones. Okay, so here I am in Logic. I have these Neural DSP guitars that I rendered out. It was the guitars that I kind of used while I was writing these couple of riffs. They sound like this. Sounds super good. That is the Neural DSP Fort and Cali suite. And here I have the DIs themselves. I have guitar DI left and I have guitar DI right. And then I have my bass and drums. Bass is Eurobass. And the drums are ML Sound Labs, ML Drum Lab. I think those sound awesome. At this point, I just want to experiment with some more guitar sounds. I really love the Neural DSP guitars, and I may end up just using those. But I guess practically at this point, if I wanted to see what another guitar amp would sound like, or if I didn't like the sounds for some reason, then I could send out line 3 or line 4 on the back of my interface through the reamp box to the Kemper and then back into my interface. Okay, so we will make a couple of new audio tracks, and we'll have reamp left and reamp right. And I'm going to put them underneath their DI tracks. We'll set the input on those to input 2 because that is the input my Kemper is going into. You see that the guitar DI, if I were to set the output on the guitar DI to stereo output, then you would be able to hear just the DI sound. But I'm going to set the output to output 3. And now if I hover over the reamp track, you should be hearing a Marshall JCM 800 from Synths. Anyways, though, we're going to loop this riff right here. It's probably going to get annoying to listen to, and we're going to scroll through some Kemper profiles and see if there's anything that we land on. And so already doing this, I don't know if I need to monitor louder or if I need to move my Kemper. I'm not really getting a super accurate representation of what I'm hearing when I'm over there scrolling through the Kemper. That was me killing a bug. Okay, so that actually ended up being an EVH 50 watt amp from Jeff Dunn going through an oversized Mesa cab. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna track that on to both the reamp left and reamp right channels and see how that sounds in the context of the mix. I want to put those on a track stack or in a track stack so I can fade them. We'll do that, and we'll unmute our bass and our drums, and I'm gonna just play with some levels, I guess. That's how I'm currently using the Radial Pro RMP reamp box with my Kemper. This kind of inspires me to get out of the box even more eventually. Don't know when it's going to happen or how soon it will happen, but just the process of being able to reamp guitars, I guess it just makes me feel more creative. So that's why I've wanted to mess around with reamping, and that is how this video came about today. So if you're still here at this point in the video, you're probably wondering, why did I just watch such a pointless video? And let me tell you, I'm gonna give you a couple of reasons. If you could please leave down in the comments, what are you guys doing for guitar tones? Are you guys reamping through a Kemper or through like an Axe Effects? Are you just using your DI and using amp sims in the box? Are you recording tube amps with microphones? I think really we're at a point where there are so many different methods and it's really kind of hard to distinguish between better and just more convenient. At least that's where I'm at right now. I do think I'm going to dive deeper down this hybrid approach of amp sims and Kemper, and then maybe one day I'll spend some more money that I don't have and buy a really cool tube amp to try to reamp through. Again, if you're still here, thank you so much for watching this far into the video. Please hit the like button and the subscribe button, and like I said, leave down in the comments some of your thoughts on guitar tones in general. I hope you guys have a good day. I'll see you in the next video.